yours completely cricket. Hosting this episode today is myself, Avinash, and alongside me we have Daniel Cheung. Today's episode is a preview of the upcoming Ashes series Down Under, where we will be analysing the Australian squad and we'll be picking our own England squad for the first test. Without further ado, let's get started.
So we already know the Australian squad. It's been confirmed pretty early. The squad, the official first test squad is Marcus Harris, David Warner opening. Then you got Marnus Labuschagne, Steve Smith, Travis Head. Surprise entry. I think a lot of people are expecting Usman Khawaja to play. And then you got Cameron Green, Alex Carey, who's a new wicketkeeper, Pat Cummins as captain, Mitchell Starc, Nathan Lyon, and Josh Hazlewood. What do you think about the Australian squad? Any first thoughts?
I think, obviously, the bowling, they've probably got the best bowling attack in the world. If you look at Pat Cummins, Mitch Starc, Nathan Lyon, Josh Hazlewood, they pretty much have all bases covered in that aspect. The batting, obviously, Marnus Labuschagne, Steve Smith, David Warner, three of the best batsmen in the world, all capable of scoring massive totals on any day. But if I look at the rest of that batting lineup, see Marcus Harris. I mean, he's been a bit hit and miss. He's looked really promising in the Shield, but he's quite. He hasn't exactly had a good run of form. He's made decent scores here and there. Travis Head, again, I don't think Travis Head is that good. He hasn't scored many runs, and he only scored them against not very good teams. Cameron Green, I haven't actually seen much of Cameron Green, but I hear he's very good. But he's really inexperienced because he's only just come around in the last year or so. Yeah. Obviously, Alex Carey's debut in the place of Tim Payne. So,
yeah, I think I agree with you. The bowling attack is phenomenal. I think Cameron Green also bowls, so that's an extra opportunity. As well as we know Steve Smith can bowl with leg spin, Marnus Labuschagne, so they've got bowling covered. I think it's an inexperience for this Ashes. If you look at Cameron Green, Alex Carey obviously played ODI cricket and T20, but not much. I think no Test cricket, so that's going to be something that's new for him. So there's a lot of inexperience. England squad, because obviously England squad hasn't been confirmed yet. Daniel, you picked your own England squad. I picked my own. Do you want to go first and read out your squad?
Okay. I have Burns and Hamid opening, which I think most people would have chosen. I had Stokes at 3 because I feel like he's got the technique, he's got the capability to bat 3, but I don't think they will bat him there just because he's just coming back. I think that they will bat Milan at 3. I would bat Stokes at 3. Obviously got Root at 4. You can't choose anyone but him at the moment. I had Dawid Malan at 5. Again, could swap him and Stokes. I had Pope at 6. I had Bairstow as my wicketkeeper. I had Don Best because Australia have got absolutely loads of left-handers. I have Ollie Robinson, Mark Woods, just for his pace.
Okay, cool. So, I think that's a pretty balanced squad. You've got good batting, but you've also got a good experienced bowling attack. My squad is pretty similar, but there's a few differences. So Burns Hamid opening, I agree. I have Milan at 3 purely because I think he is a type of number 3 batsman. He can deal with the new ball pretty well. I feel like Stokes, it's really more effective if you bring him in number 5, and the new ball is going to be, it's not the ball won't be as new, so then he doesn't need to worry about the lot of swing and seam. Then I put Root for Stokes at 5, I think, and then 6 would be Pope. I like Ollie Pope. I think he's a really good batsman. I think he's got a promising future. I think putting him at number 6 is going to give him opportunity to bat a lot, but it's also going to look like it's going to sort of shield him from the new ball and such that as he gets more confident with the batting and score more runs, then he can be promoted to the top of the order. 7 was probably my difficult position to decide. I think I'd go with Josh Buttler, but Bairstow. I like Buttler and Bairstow, so I can't really decide. But I think Butler's probably going to be the man who's going to play the first test. Bairstow still has a chance. My bowling attack is slightly different to yours. Broad, number 8, purely because I think his accuracy as well as his battle against David Warner means that he's a key pick. Then Robinson, his metronomic line length is going to be perfect for Australian pitches. Then number 10 is Chris Wokes. Actually, I might put him a bit higher in the batting order, but Chris Wokes is, and number 11, Jack Leach. The reason why I didn't include Jimmy Anderson is because I want to keep him for the second test, the day-night test. So I think if we keep him fresh for that, I think he'll be more effective. Also, it was difficult because I also want to include someone who had some pace. That's my pick.
No, obviously, your batting order is almost identical to mine. I find interesting that you've gone with Wokes and Broad, because I feel like if you're going to save Anderson for the day-night test, I think Wokes is going to be completely useless unless he plays in a pitch that swings. So if they were going to go for that, attacking the day-night test as one of the first two tests that they can win, I'd probably take Wokes out and replace Wood if you're going to go with that, because I just feel like that would be better if they're going to go for that tactic of attacking the day-night test.
Yeah, that's true. I think with England, we've got loads of bowlers, loads of pace bowlers. It's going to be so hard. Obviously, we want to have the best team for every test, but I think there has to be a different tactic for every single test. You can't have we're going to go with the same people, because different people, like Jimmy Anderson, will probably be more effective in the day-night test. But then there's also the consideration of the weather in Australia. There's been a lot of rain. Some of their practice matches have been washed out, so you never know for the first test. It could be the rain could be an important factor. So let's look at weaknesses. So if we start with the batting order, both of our batting orders are pretty similar. Any obvious weaknesses you see, Daniel, in our England batting order?
I'd say it's a fairly well-rounded batting lineup. I think that's the top 3 or top 4. I'd say is the most nailed-on picks that are in the team. So the top 5 is obviously going to be most likely Burns, Hamid, Malan, Root, and Stokes. That's 99% is going to be that top 5. Obviously, I think if Root turns up, then England have got a seriously good chance of winning. If he bats like he's batted all year, England have got more than England. They can take it to the last test, I'd say.
Yeah. See, I think the real weakness, I think, for England is their top 2. Of course, the reason why it's nailed down is because there isn't really anyone else challenging. You have Zach Crawley, Dom Sibley, they've been out of form. I think it's not because Burns and Hamid have been batting amazingly is the reason why they're confirmed as top 2 picks. It's actually because there's no one else challenging them. So I think that the top 2 they've recently developed a partnership, but it's not completely convincing. That's the thing. I think no one's going to be like, oh my god, these top 2 are going to score 100-run partnership every test. They could easily get out in the first couple of overs. So that's the fragility there. That's quite actually is risky. We don't know whether they can play it out and deal with the new ball, because they do have to. If they can wear down the new ball, and even if they don't score many runs, it sets a platform for the rest of the batsmen, and then I think from there England can make scores of 350, 400 plus regularly is what they really need.
Yeah, I agree. I think Burns and Hamid have just batted less badly than Sibley, Crawley, Lawrence, and all the other people trying to make their way into the top order. So I agree with you there. And I think that's probably what's going to decide the Ashes. Both of the bowling attacks are near flawless, yet both the batting lineups have glaring weaknesses. So I feel like whichever team bats less badly will win.
Yeah. There's something else to consider. We haven't talked about spinners. So both of us have put one spinner in our team. You put Don Bess. I put Jack Leach. Don Bess obviously can also bat decently. He's been used as a night watchman before. Jack Leach, we've seen in the heading the innings of the Ashes 2019, he can defend. But in terms of actual spinning ability, who do you think's a better bowler, Don Bess or Jack Leach?
I'd say the better bowler, if they I mean, I only chose Don Best because Australia have got loads of left-handers. If you look at their team, they've got Marcus Harris is left-handed, David Warner's left-handed, I think Travis Head is left-handed, Mitchell Stark is left-handed. So they've got a lot of left-handed players in that team. So I went with Don Best. I'd say Druckley is a better spinner, but just because of the amount of left-handers, I went with Don Best.
That's true. I think that also sort of relates to planning for every test. For example, if Australia decide to change their squad for the second test, then obviously Don Best might need to come out, and Jack Leach might be more useful. So it really depends on the conditions and who's playing. So I think it surprised me that Australia released their squad pretty early, because it sort of gives England a way to plan their squad according to who's playing with the Australian team. So yeah, do you think any of the off-field issues, such as like Tim Payne resigning, so it's a new captain, Pat Cummins, or England's racism scandal in Yorkshire, do you think any of these are going to have any impact on the performances on the first test?
I'd say the captaincy issue is obviously massive. If you change your captain right before an Ashes series, it's obviously, the captain has to, gain the players' trust. Obviously, everyone trusts Pat Cummins. He's one of the best players in the world. As a captain, he's not got much experience. Obviously, in an Ashes test, if it goes well, you'll be hailed as, Sir Pat Cummins. But if it doesn't go well, then he might only have one series.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's very ruthless, because Ashes is the pinnacle of Test cricket, and I don't think Pat Cummins I don't think he's captained for any test where Tim Payne's been out, for example, like injured or something, and he's been the captain. But honestly, in my opinion, I think that Tim Payne not being in the team is actually a benefit, because as a batsman, I think his top test score somewhere in the 90s. He hasn't scored any test centuries. As a batsman, he isn't really bringing anything to the squad. Yeah, he's a good keeper, but you've got people like Alex Carey and Josh Inglis. You've got Australia have keepers who can keep well. So I don't think Tim Payne being out and bringing Alex Carey in actually gives a strength to the batting order. So I think that overall, it should be Tim Payne not being there is actually a benefit for Australia. In the long run, I think it's going to be a benefit. Also considering Tim Payne's like 37, I think, as well, so he's going to be retiring soon anyway.
Yeah, I agree. I think Tim Payne leaving the Australian team or retiring or getting dropped sometime or another was just delaying the inevitable. He was limping along with his scores. He's a good wicketkeeper, but does the job, but not much more than that. If you watch the test, the documentary, then he seems like quite a good captain, like quite a good leader. But in modern day cricket, you can't really choose someone because they're a captain anymore. You need all of your top 7 players to bat, and now it's even moved to the bowlers being selected over other bowlers because they're better at batting.
Yeah, no.
I think the speed of the game is evolving. You can't just be a captain.
Yeah.
Or a fielder. You need to bring something with the bat.
All in all, I think this is going to be a really interesting first test, and the Ashes is going to be amazing, especially considering it's in Australian conditions as well. So that's going to really, it's going to put England are going to be the underdogs, obviously, because their Test cricket their performances haven't been as good as Australia's. However, Australia are also a bit less confident considering they lost in Australia against India. So they're not going to have complete confidence. But I think it's going to be a pretty good Test series. I just hope England aren't going to be whitewashed like many other Test series. If they are whitewashed, then it's just going to be disappointing. They need to win at least 1 or 2 tests. So thank you, Daniel. I can't wait for the Ashes. I think it starts like 4 or 5 a.m. But
it starts like midnight on Wednesday. So.
Oh wow! So considering it's in the holidays, I think hopefully we can watch. Thank you everyone for listening. See you in the next episode. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.